Alrighty, folks, if you've heard me talk about real estate investing, you know a couple of things are true. You've heard me talk about it takes a decade. You've also heard me say ad nauseum that the first 5 years suck. Undoubtedly, that is true for lots and lots of people. And sometimes you get into this muck and mire and you are ready to quit. We're going to talk with Kyle and Taylor about that moment in their career where they were ready to quit, but they actually came down to the original Vegas event, and that was a pivot in their story. So we're going to unpack where they were, where they got to, what are they doing now. Kyle, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and Taylor, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So, Kyle, you've been on the show before. I think both of you have been on the show before. Why don't we remind folks what was going on in your business pre-Vegas event, right? Because I remember the stories, but let's bring the audience. What was going on? Why were you ready to quit?
Yeah. Let's see. We had a bunch of stuff that happened in a very short amount of time. It seems like we got 5 years of suck in a few months. Murphy's Law, where, anything that could go wrong, it absolutely did. We had just gone through a first eviction. I found out that my hired property manager that I was kind of training at the time placed somebody without doing the proper screening. And I definitely made a mistake by not verifying and checking her work. I just said, you know what, if you checked all that, we're good. I trust you. Yep, she didn't collect the security deposit. They paid for a few months. They were out. We did have another property that we were rehabbing, and that same property manager was also doing the rehab work. Her and her husband were doing it too. And when I went out there, I found out some things that I paid her for weren't done. I trusted too much. I'm like, nah, you don't need to send me pictures. How stupid that was. There was another property we were trying to get rented out in the same area. All these properties are in Davenport, Iowa, just to set the scene there. And just had a brand new roof put on it, shortly after closing, and there was a bunch of snow, and there was some dips in the roof. Well, the brand new roof started leaking, and the ceiling was falling down on the one property. So we got one vacant, one's got an eviction. The other one, brand new roof is leaking as we're, flying out because we were out there at that time. A new property manager I hired, she quit on me. And what do you remember what else? I mean, that was a year ago. It feels like a lifetime ago, but yeah.
Yeah. There's, this is not uncommon. I mean, you guys know my story, but for the audience, I actually fired the first 5 property managers. I had property manager interviews are tough. Definitely trust but verify. Lots of lessons, lots of ownership, which I'm happy to hear you taking. Right, you're not blaming others. You're taking ownership, which is awesome, very healthy. That's how you learn and grow. So again, you have this seemingly tsunami of badness going on in real estate. You're likely losing money, I'm guessing, given all that stuff. You're feeding the beast, and you're frankly thinking about quitting. But then you went to the original ORAD event, which would have been in 2024, right? February of 2024. Mm-hmm. Why'd you go? Right? Because again, that was a couple $100 you guys drove down, right? You drove?
We flew. We flew.
The first year we flew.
Oh, you flew. Oh, drove the second time.
Okay, last time we drove. Yeah.
Yeah. So you flew. So that, you're talking a couple of grand, I'm guessing, right? Hotels, food, flights. I'd love to hear why you decided to come, because it would have been easy just to quit and not do it. So let's talk about why you guys said yes to coming down.
Her. I didn't want to at all, and she said, we have to. She literally kept me in this, and it's funny, I remember you telling you and Olivia's story about, when you were ready to quit, right? I was there. I felt that. I still feel it in my bones today when I just go back and think about it. Like all those emotions in one shot,
I remember. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. But she said, you know, like, we have to go, you know, like, at this point, it doesn't matter. Right. So what's the worst that's going to happen? You know? So yeah, we decided to go, and, you know, great choice of speakers, by the way. Yeah. I mean, Jason and Jen kicking it off.
Yeah, that was good.
I was sitting in the front row, and I mean, I was tearing up. You know, no lie. Like, have you ever seen me cry? So I was tearing up because, you know, just hearing his story really just hit me hard. I'm like, man, I'm living that right now. And then I see how they got past everything, and that was just, and I definitely made some mistakes. You know, for one, we were living the same life, but two different careers, more or less. You know, I have a small trucking company. I was working, you know, I've been partially retired ever since I, you know, got everything in order shortly after that event. She's been working full time. So, you know, I handle a lot of the real estate on my own. And when Jason said, you know, it was easier and faster for me to take care of it myself than to teach her how to do it, that's exactly the same mistake that I was making at the time. And that was the minute that I started complete 180. And I'm like, you're going to hear about all the bad and all the good at the same time. So there's no more like, I got this. So we're on one team now.
Yeah, that is. I mean, Jason and Jen are amazing. I'm lucky to call them friends, and yeah, they're wonderful. But yeah, you got to be on the same page. Sometimes guys, again, I only can speak for guys. We try to take on a lot, and I don't know if it's protect or, you know, what our significant other from the nonsense and craziness. But dude, you got to get it off your chest. I'm glad that conversation was that pivot. You know, and I'm glad you guys came back for year 2. So that was really fun to see you. So let's talk about what's transpired, because again, not only did that event keep you in, but you guys have gone on an interesting journey since then. So I got a whole email with like 17 steps of things that's gone on. Why don't we keep the audience on some of the big moves you guys have made?
Yeah. So we just ended up buying 2 last year. When was it? July, right? Yeah. So you know, we got things in order because, well, we didn't have a choice. So had to get stuff straightened out very quick. We did. And it's just been like a rocket ship since. I guess I can fast forward a little bit. You know, got that straightened out. You know, closed on a property in when was that? June, I think it was. Yeah. And then I was having some contractor issues. Seems to be everybody's nightmare is always contractors. No matter how many referrals you get, they do good for 3 or 4 jobs, and then it's like after that, it's like, what happened? So why don't you tell me?
You keep going. I'm not into the story yet.
All right. So she was driving to work. She was driving to work the one day in July, heading up, and she whacked a deer at like 70 miles an hour in her 20-year-old Mustang.
Oh, I'm guessing the Mustang did not do well.
No, about $6,000 to fix it if I did it myself.
Oh my gosh.
So, I was like, no, time to find something else to do.
20-year-old Mustang, $6,000. No, I keep the $6,000. Yeah. All right. Well, you were okay though. You were okay.
Oh yeah. Minor heart attack, but yeah. First year I ever hit, so I was really nervous.
I bet. Yeah, we don't have a lot of deer in at least not in the Bay Area, so that's got to be a frightening scene. So, okay, so she hits a deer.
Hits a deer. You know, all of our vehicles are 99 or older, more or less, and she was putting on 100 miles a day, 6 days a week, for her job, not making a whole lot. And I'm like, you know what? Like, now what? Like, most people would either take one of my vehicles, but my vehicles are older, but they're low mileage. And I'm trying to keep it that way. And it didn't pencil out. I'm like, for you to go up there to make this little bit of money to rack up all these mileage on my old trucks. No. And I'm like, well, you can buy another liability. No, that's not going to happen either. Or she's been wanting to be self-employed, since I've met her, really. And she always struggled with, I hope I'm not speaking for you, but she always struggled with direction of like what she wanted to do, because she's got so much experience in so many different things, a lot of physical labor. And at the time, I'm like, you know what? I'm having contractor issues. You're not making a whole lot. What if we solve both of their problems at the same time? Why don't you become the new contractor, head out to Iowa, 1,500 miles away from where we are, to rehab one property, had another one closing in September. She's got a little bit of experience in everything, but, not an expert in one specific category. And I'm like, you get your self-employment. I pay you just like a normal contractor. No discounts, right? For you, you make more money. In my head, I'm like, I get free labor. I just transfer it from my account to her account,
Yeah, exactly.
So, and it was only supposed to be for like 3 months or so. And she ended up being out there for about 5 months straight, not coming home at all. And so, traded one of my old vehicles from our buddy's Tahoe, bought a brand new enclosed trailer, a bunch of tools. She blew her whole savings account to do this, went all in. And she headed up to Iowa, and that's where she left in August. Yeah, I think it was August. August, and came home the end of January.
January 28th is when I made it back home.
Wow. So Taylor, how's that been? How's that transition been from a W-2 to an entrepreneur? How's that been for you?
Well, I was fine up until the day I left. Then I started having some really bad anxiety. I cried the whole way out to Davenport because I've never left Montana. Born and raised here, small little country girl, going to a big city, never been anywhere on my own, and I was dying. I almost turned around several times. Wow. Other than that, it's been hard. But now that I'm almost a year into it, it's turned around and I'm doing good and it's a lot better. So
nice.
But it was very hard.
So I mean, just paint the picture for folks. You're born and raised in Montana, small towns. I had an internal chuckle. I didn't do it out loud. But when you called Davenport a big city, I did chuckle.
Well, it is. I grew up in a town with like under 1,500 people. So
Davenport's a big town. If that's there you go.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yep, exactly.
She thought it was New York City.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this story. This story is amazing. So let's fast forward to today. So you've been out there roughly a year. It sounds like you've worked on at least 2 properties. It sounds like.
Yep.
Are you having fun?
Oh yeah. It's a blast.
That's fun.
Now looking back on it now, it was a blast. But in the time that I was doing it, it wasn't fun.
So let's paint a picture. Hard conversation. So let's paint a picture. What were some of the things that you did on one of these? Like, are you replumbing the house? Are you painting? Like, what are you doing in these?
So the first one was just a punch list of some small things that the first contractor didn't do or finish. So that one wasn't really nothing. But the second one was a complete remodel, almost completely down to the studs in every room. So I did drywall, plumbing, electrical, flooring, remodeled the kitchen. I touched on everything, bathrooms, everything.
Wow. So how big was this one? It was like 1,200 square feet, 1,800. What are we talking about?
It was 2,000 square feet.
Yeah, about that.
That's a decent. So what, like 3-4 bedrooms? That's a decent sized house.
4 or 5. There was like a little bonus room that you could turn into a bedroom, so it'd be a 5th.
Okay. All right. So that's a decent house. Go ahead, Kyle.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, it's funny because so she's seen pictures of that property. The first one, she's seen pictures of it. She was a little overwhelmed. I'm like, this is nothing because wait till you see the next property you're going to. I just didn't tell her at the time.
Hey, sweetheart, I know this one looks simple, but you got another one back here.
Yeah. Just wait. Life is really going to suck. You're going to want to come back to this in about a month.
Yeah.
So it was funny because, my buddy, walked the property and, all that stuff. And I knew what I was getting myself into. And, she's seen pictures, but she wasn't ever there to see before she got started. And when he took her over there, she was just overwhelmed. It was, kind of a hoarder house as well, overgrowth, Just so much, like several drop ceilings with several drop ceilings behind those drop ceilings, and
layers upon layers of drop ceilings.
Wow.
Plus it was all lath and plaster.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was fun.
That's all the houses over there. Yep. So she had to do a lot of drywall work. I mean, literally everything from top to bottom, inside and out, she just about touched.
Yeah. So where does this, sounds like a great working relationship. Sounds like you guys are having more fun. Where do you go? Like, Taylor, you guys going to be buying some, or Tara and Kyle, you're going to be buying some more properties, or what's next?
Yeah, we're looking at buying a few more, but until then, I just kind of keeping busy out here in Montana, door knocking and getting some jobs going. So
nice.
Getting my name out there.
So you're, so you have a business, you're getting, you're just doing handyman jobs and things of that nature out in Montana now?
Yep.
Very cool. And then if Kyle locks up another deal, then you go back, you do that, and you come back. That's kind of the working order?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. How is it, how am I going to ask this question? How is it being in a romantic relationship? You guys are together, and also kind of in, how do I say this? He's paying you for your time.
Business partners?
Yeah, business partners. There we go. How is that? How do you balance? Like, how do you stay? Like, how do you have those conversations? Like, money.
Well, at first, at first it was hard for me to kind of find that line with him. I thought it was like all business because we'd talk and he'd yell at me for, not doing stuff that should have been done or taking too long for something. And I just thought that was, him being just rude, I guess is what you'd call it. But it was the business relationship that he was trying to get me, to do. And at first it was hard. Like the first 2 months, I couldn't find that line. And then finally we would just, talk business. And then at like 10 o'clock at night, he'd call me back. And that would be like our relationship time, and it was easier for me to have that line at, 10 o'clock at night, he'd call and just that we'd tell each other about our day and what was going on. And other than that, it was during the day, it was business partner.
work.
That's important.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. There's a little delay. The relationship we probably put a little bit of a pause on, like not so much talking on relationship wise every day. And we talk 80% business most of the time when we talked. But it's funny because like there's a couple times where I was yelling at her because she was unfocused or whatever. Because I'm doing nothing over here and I want to be out there. Yeah. It's driving me nuts. And I'll be yelling at her about something, and then a couple minutes later, the conversation completely flips to just talking about relationship. Just normal life, right? Yeah. Like, and it's just like almost like you talk to two different people and you're bipolar or something like that. And as far as like the money side goes, she didn't really know like what to quote jobs, but because I'm used to paying contractors for a lot of things, I know what things should cost. So a lot of times one thing she struggled with was coming in way too low on the estimates. And I'm like, no. Like you should be charging me at least $1,200 for this because that's what I would expect to pay. And then she typed up the email, of an invoice, sent it to me. So it was pretty cut and dry.
Nice. Yeah. And one of the things that, again, I see a lot of couples, over the decades of doing this is guys, at least most of the, again, I only have experience being a guy, right? But guys are very comfortable sometimes in the business conversations. We don't do a great job of maintaining the relationship, the romantic relationship. So I'm glad you guys found the line. And I like that cutoff, 10 o'clock. I think that's very helpful, right? We don't talk business past 10. Mm-hmm. It's just us. I think that's very wise. It's healthy. I think it's very healthy, right? We can always pick that up tomorrow. There's nothing that's going to happen at 10 o'clock at night that's going to change the business. We'll talk about that tomorrow at 9. I think that's really wise and healthy advice. One of the things that Olivia and I did is I think I've told the story before, but we ended up having what we called Friday night family sushi for the better part of a decade. Probably 40 Fridays out of the year, we would have sushi with our daughter. And cause that was like our time. and we would talk about the business and whatnot. And then outside of that, it was family. So I think everybody's got to find that line. So I'm glad you guys did.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. What where are you guys going? So again, Taylor's out there drumming up, door knocking, getting some jobs in Montana. Kyle, you're out there. You're still shopping in Davenport. Is that like your buy box?
Yep.
Okay.
She's been doing great with the handyman service. I've been terrible trying to find the next deal. So I'm sucking in that department. The one thing we talk about isn't so much complimenting each other, which is kind of weird for a lot of people to understand that, on saying like, oh, good job, you did a good job on this, keep it up. For me and her, like, we kind of push each other where, like, hey, tell me where I suck at, so I so I understand where I can improve at. And we have that back and forth. And it's not like a beating you up kind of thing. It's like, hey, we don't need to talk about what you're doing good already with. We just need to go forward with getting better. We're at A, we need to get the Z, and I don't care how many letters are in the alphabet. We just got to go.
Right.
I don't care how hard they're going to be, but we're just going. So, yeah, I'm sorry. What was your original question? I got off on a complete.
No, that's all great. I mean, this is constructive criticism. Looking for ways to improve. That's help. That's a sign of a mature relationship, and frankly, a sign of a healthy relationship. So I'm going to assume, Kyle, it goes both ways. Taylor's free to tell you what you suck at, also.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So trying to get. I'd like to get 3 more properties this year. It's been super hard. I'm hitting marketing really hard. Tons of networking. Just haven't got anything to pencil out. So it'll come though. It'll come.
Yeah, it'll come. It's a numbers game. I do think I'm going to guess opportunities get a little easier for the next couple of months as demand falls off a cliff. I got to imagine a lot of demand is scared what's going on in the economy and tariffs and all of that. So it wouldn't shock me if A, properties that were in contract came back on the market, so maybe you get a second chance at them, or B, you find more motivated sellers. So my advice to you is just keep doing what you're doing. Know it's going to work. Know it's a numbers game. And heck, if you don't get a deal, you get to spend more time with Taylor. She's not off in Davenport, so that doesn't suck.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, that's hilarious. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say she definitely. I close your ears. There you go. I'm proud of her. I don't tell her that, but she came. All right, you're good. She came such a long way, with the mental mindset, and we've been pushing really hard on improving mentally. We've took a lot of people would call extreme measures. Removing distractions. We live in a tiny house. We had one piece of furniture being a couch. That's gone. We removed the couch. We put a desk in its place.
We got rid of the TV too. It used to be back there.
Nice.
So just trying to eliminate tons of distractions and just really work on mental mindset and moving forward.
I like it. If somebody wanted to reach out, follow you guys, network, maybe get some jobs in Montana for you, how would they reach out or follow you guys? Are you on social media or what are we doing?
I only have Facebook and an email for my contracting page. So,
all right, what's your email?
It's Redbone Contracting LLC at hotmail.com.
All right, very cool. And Kyle, where would somebody reach out or follow you? Do you have social media?
Just got the Facebook page. Yep.
Okay.
So Kyle Dorn, if you want to look me up, I'm in the one rental at a time community as well.
There you go. Well, guys, you're amazing. I love this. I love the fact that, you were in some dark days, right? You had all those tsunami of events. I love the fact that Taylor said, get your ass to the event. The first session, Jason and Jen changed your life. And it's like the dawn is risen. The sun is up. Things are better. So I think that's encouraging. Lots of people go through the suck. That's for sure. Guys, have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being vulnerable.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.